Alrighty. Well, hey, hi everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. And look, goodness, I am joined by a good gaggle of friends here, but I think we're all getting together and we're going to chat a little bit about the SANS Holiday Hack Challenge. Now, this is coming up super duper soon this year for 2024. And look, I've been playing it as much as I can for the past previous years and the renditions, and I've tried to share some content and some videos showcasing it, but I am super excited to get a chance to talk with the source. So goodness, we've got Kyle, we've got Eric, we've got Chris, we've got Evan. Gentlemen, please, I don't know if we need to go in some round robin way to get this party started, but if anyone's willing to chime in, hey, I'd love to learn who the heck you are and what you're up to.
Let's go alphabetically, yeah? I'll start. I'm Evan Booth. I built the engine that Holiday Hack currently runs on. Did that about 5 years ago, and we've been making incremental improvements. And so in years past, I've mostly focused on world building and then any advances to the engine that are necessary. But past couple of years, we've had more people chipping in on the world building stuff. So I'm mostly focusing on features. So yeah, that's me.
I guess I'll go next since I'm the other E, even though that's after C and D, but that's fine. So I'm Eric Persley. I joined the Counterhack team in 2022. Right as the prime, Holiday Hack development season was kicking off. For 2022, I started doing some dialogue, which, there was only one other person really doing dialogue, and so they needed someone there, so I, fit right in there, and then did pretty well at it, I guess. And then the next year for 2023, I had the idea of sailing around the islands, and brought the idea to Evan, and he loved it, and Ed as well loved it. And then Evan invited me to, previously I think he was the only one doing all the world building, and he invited me to join the world building team, which became just him and I. Ended up, creating the world of 2023. And then we brought on Thomas, another guy. And then this year, we brought on Kyle to the world building team as well. But he's mostly doing challenges this year. So, I do world building, dialogue. I also, before I got into cybersecurity, I went to school for audio engineering. So I immediately recognized the lack of audio in Holiday Hack Challenge and filled that gap in there. So all of the ambiance and a lot of the sound effects and stuff that you were introduced in 2023, that was, something that I had added to the game.
Yeah, he really made the soundtrack really pop. It made it really feel alive as you're moving around and stuff. So he did a lot of good work on that. With that said, I guess I'll go next. Name's Chris Davis. I came on to SANS and Counterhack, I think in 2018 is when I officially came on. And I remember when I came on, I was like, man, I'm working with Tim Medine and Jeff McJung and all these crazy good guys. And I was like, man, I can't believe I'm here. Felt imposter syndrome and, loved CTFs. And I remember playing Holiday Hack Challenge back in 2014, 2015 and just being blown away by the challenges then. And so coming on, I was like, oh, this is so good. I get to make stuff. And it's been a lot of learning, but in the long run, it's been great. Now here I am coming on, and I'm kind of a senior developer at this point as far as challenges are concerned. And so the grand challenge this year will be my product, so I'm pretty excited about it. Should really give people something to chew on for quite a while. I did the Want a Cookie challenge back in the day, so you might see something similar to that. I think that was 2020 or something, or 2019, somewhere in there. But yeah, so we got a lot of really cool challenges now, a new model for delivering them. So just really excited to see what people do and read the reports too.
Hey, I'm Kyle. As Eric said, and Evan, I came on board early this year, so I'm here only 9 months now. So of the four of us, I'm the most recent. And man, is it a dream come true to be a part of this awesome team. So Holiday Hack, I can honestly say, was pivotal in my career. So I started playing that years ago, learned a bunch of great tools and techniques on how to do stuff in security, and that really launched my career. So looking forward now, a couple years, having the opportunity to join the team and now build challenges and being a part of the world building team with Eric and Evan, and actually seeing how all this stuff's pieced together and put my stuff in there and my contributions it's a really cool opportunity. And I'm thrilled to be part of again the team that the guys that I look up to as I was getting started in my career. So it's a awesome time, having a blast.
Goodness. Well, hey, I'm super grateful to get a chance to hang out with you all. And in my mind, I see a couple, I guess, three different dimensions or directions here was like the world itself, that atmosphere and the environment and the challenges and the tasks. And I'm excited to, hey, have some time with you all to think and lean in on those. And then the story, which I'll, spend some time with Ed Scotus himself to pick his brain and see what he's thinking for all that narrative and the storytelling and all that. Bundling it all together. But I'm pretty excited, but I'm curious I don't know. I know you mentioned, Chris, I thought you said, hey, there's a new model for some of the challenges and the challenge delivery. What is new, even across the board, for 2024 Holiday Hack Challenge? And then, I don't know, what are you particularly or specifically tinkering and tweaking here?
Well, I can talk about what I'm tinkering and tweaking. The new model is actually Evan's brain. He's the brains behind that, so it might be better for him to talk about that. So
Yeah, so the way that players will navigate challenges this year is fundamentally different. We all got together earlier this year, watched an interesting video on sort of Nintendo's philosophy behind difficulty. And you don't really notice it, but in most Nintendo games, you don't really select difficulty going in. They just make it, enjoyable and approachable, but at the same time, like they don't hide challenges that will test your mettle, right? And so this year, all of our challenges are solvable in two ways. There's kind of an easy mode and a hard mode. And so it gives our challenge assets a little more depth, a little more replayability, but also it'll help people get through and see a little more of the story this year. So that's something we're excited about.
And then also we're doing the staged release too. So we're actually breaking up the challenges into acts and then delivering those over an extended period of time. So instead of all the challenges being delivered all at once, you'll actually have the opportunity to play them in pieces and in chunks, which helps because I know a lot of people, like that was the way it was when I played. First week of December launches, and then I'm scrambling like crazy to try to jam pack all the challenges in and get it done before Christmas so that my family's not murdering me for being on the computer all the time. So as a player, but also as a developer, it's nice because it gives us a little bit of staged release, and instead of just here you go, here's everything all at once. So.
Well, does the extra act and kind of the separation and breakup of the story building mean it's going to be a whole new world or a whole new different play area for, hey, the character to hop around in? Or, I don't know, how much does that change, I guess, the environment in your build out?
It'll be similar to previous years where each act is its own, essentially just its own area, as if you were, like last year, for example, if you were to go from one island to the other. At least on the developer side, how we create it, it's just another area. So Act 1 has its own area, and then Act 2 has its own area, and they take place in the same, or it's going to appear to the player as if it's the same place. But on the developer side, it's just their copies that are edited. And iterated on. But as the acts progress, the areas will progress along with it. Things will change. So it'll be really cool, I think. It'll be like environmental storytelling, that kind of concept. So you'll see as the story evolves, the areas will evolve with it instead of just things static like it has in previous years.
Nice.
Yeah, so you're not going to miss out on the best parts, which is you're in the world, you see other people playing with you, because that's like half the fun, is just feeling connected to other nerds, right? I mean, that's why I like to go work at the coffee shop sometimes, because I just like the energy of people. So it's the same thing with like online video game, just having the energy of other people around with you, jumping on Discord, seeing them there and communicating, and having an opportunity for people to be connected, which is also one of the things that we try to do each year with, for example, some of my challenges. We've been, at least for the last few years, been trying to create a way to connect people together. So like we'll do a little mini game usually where like one year we had the snowball hero where you had kind of like a guitar hero play with another person, or you could hack it. Of course, we always have to have a way to hack things. So I created the snowball hero a few years back. But you could just play with other people, and so connect with two people, Guitar Hero away. We've done a few iterations of that. Last year we had a snowball fight game, and this year we'll have something similar to that too, with a slightly different twist based on the storyline. The elves are maybe having a nice grand snowball fight going on, and that'll kind of tie into the storyline and also tie into the grand challenge later on as well.
Very cool. Are you all feeling good? Are you all feeling like, hey, we're getting closer to launch, but not as stressed, not as like, oh my goodness, crazy, it's going to happen and we got to get everything ready? Or how are you feeling?
That's another really big change this year. We typically, we all got together last week, or was it the week before? Time is weird. But yeah, usually the outcome of that gathering is we have a list of things we have to build. This time around, we did a lot of our dev earlier in the year for challenges. And so it was a little less stressful because we were actually just demoing our challenges that were, in near complete stage. So definitely a different feel this year than the last minute crunch that we're kind of used to.
Yeah, to clarify what Evan said, I think the dev usually begins in September. That's when all the ideas start pouring in. So yeah, there's been a lot of crunch towards the end of the year. But this year we started quite early. So now we actually, the bulk of our challenges, the foundation of it has been done as of earlier this month.
Yeah, last year, at least from the world building perspective, my crazy idea of, having this huge world that you can sail around, I didn't realize how much work that was going to be as far as developing the world. So to start that in September and then have, 2 months to create this huge world with like 20 locations or whatever, it was like I was probably staying up until 2 a.m. and then waking up at, 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. most days. So it was a lot of fun for me. So it's not like, we weren't forced or anything to like put in overtime or like work on weekends or whatever, but it was fun and I kind of wanted to. So I did it to myself in a way, but it was like probably the project that I've put like the most time and effort into personally. So to move to not have that crunch again was like a huge relief, actually.
Yeah, last year was our biggest year ever, both in challenge content, but also the world itself. So the world was much bigger than we normally do. And then challenge content, we had a ton. And part of that was just because we were like all excited and we all wanted to contribute and toss stuff in. So this year we've actually scaled it back a little bit just to make it a little bit more manageable for us, but also for players too, because I think last year was quite a crunch. So the people who actually went through the entire thing, we heard some comments that this was the best ever, but also, wow, this was a lot. So we wanted to make it more approachable, but without still losing that broad spectrum. Here's a bunch of really good intro challenges for people who's never had any command line experience, and some medium strength ones, and then also like, here's a couple other towards the end that will give you something to chew on for quite a while, especially to scratch that itch for the people who are, veterans in the industry. So
I'm looking forward to it. I didn't get as much time with last year's game as I would have liked, but I'm very excited for this year, especially with that staggered release. That should make things, really exciting to be able to help share and have something new or take a break when time comes and spend time with family for the holiday season. So I think that's a huge win all around.
To point out, like mitigate any worries, I guess. The acts are released like a staggered release, but you can go back. So if you start later and after we release Act 2 or something, you can go back to like the prologue. And at any time, you can, jump forward and backwards.
No, I know there's probably not a whole lot you might be able to say in, I don't know, what is coming for this year's game. I don't know how many secrets or things we can spoil or spill, but if there are any that you'd be willing to, tease or tee up for us, that would be awesome. But I might also honestly like to learn a little bit about your development process, like the techs and engineers kind of running around getting this thing together. Can I ask, what are you using to build this all in? If there's stuff, again, you're able and comfortable sharing.
Yeah. Well, as far as what we can reveal, maybe it'd be better for me to ask for forgiveness than permission. I don't know. We have a broad spectrum, so we're going to do a lot of command line stuff, a lot of intro stuff that we've probably already done before, maybe a little bit of PowerShell, maybe a little bit of some ransomware, as I kind of hinted to before. We did Want a Cookie in the past, so you might see something similar to that as kind of a hint. Then outside of that, one thing that I wanted to talk about too, which I thought segued into your question, is simulating real life stuff. So it's really challenging because there's so many realms within cybersecurity itself. It can be really challenging to try to deliver things. Like last year we did the lockpicking challenge, so you had to like fiddle with the faster lock, definitely not the master lock combo to break that open. And of course you can, as a hacker, just crack it open, look at the source, fiddle with it until you get the answer, or you can actually try to hack things. And so one of the things that me as a senior challenge developer, been around for a minute doing this for SANS and Counteract, is I use something called Phaser, and it's just a really simple 2D framework for making video games. I actually make video games in my free time as well using it. But it's a really great utility because we can simulate a lot of real life stuff. For example, hardware hacking. That you may see some stuff like that. Hardware hacking. We also simulated voice recognition box in the last world. So we really love to simulate real life stuff that hackers actually take advantage of. I mean, we've done this in the past with like keypads. We've also done this with like QR code scanners or badge scanners, for example. So we really love to try to emulate or simulate real life things that hackers would actually have the opportunity to hack. And it's really funny because I've been doing it for a little while now. We did like the suitcase hacking lock, and so you'd actually hack a suitcase. What was that, last year or the year before? All the challenges blur together for me at this point. But one of the things that I loved is, as a challenge developer, I've kind of shown the guys some of the things that I've done with Phaser.js, and they just ran with it. I mean, honestly, Kyle has just come on and he has blown, like, he's done so incredible, because we also do some pen testing too. And man, he's crushed it there. But then he also, like, look, I showed him a little bit with Phaser, and he's just like, he just blew us out of the water. He came up with this totally incredible hacking of hardware. I won't say much more than that. I'll let him talk about that maybe some more as a new guy coming in. But as somebody who just kind of showed him, I was like, wow, I just created a monster. These guys are just, and not only just him, like Mark DeVito, for example, has done a great job with that as well. So yeah, maybe Kyle wants to speak to that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So one of my favorite things about Holiday Hack is not necessarily having the focus on like CTF-y stuff, but presenting a very practical application, stuff that hopefully you can take from the game and apply to work or your day-to-day stuff, just to learn something that means something to you. And so that was one of the inspirations for my primary challenge this year. And yes, it's around hardware hacking. I won't give you too much details on it, but that came from me having a physical device that had some pins on it, and it was like, hey, let's figure out if we can connect to this thing and what we can do with it. And that sparked the idea, hey, let's make this a challenge. And so yeah, with inspiration from Chris and some of the stuff he's done with Phaser, he was able to help me get started on to actually replicate that environment virtually, so that you can actually learn those core skills on how you can connect to a UART interface and access firmware or operating system on some of these devices. So really looking forward to that. I hope people enjoy it. I think they will.
He also said something that I kind of wanted to hit on too, not to hog too much of the time, but education, that's one of the fundamental design philosophies that I think we're different from compared to a lot of places. Again, when I came on, I loved CTFs, and I loved playing, and oftentimes CTFs were very arbitrary, and they were just kind of guess what the hacker or the challenge author is thinking. And oftentimes the technical concepts might have some practical benefit, but they aren't really realistic to what you would see in real life. So they don't actually teach you any practical hands-on pen testing, for example. And so that's one of the fundamental design philosophies that we have at SANS and CounterHack versus, I think, a lot of just generic CTFs is we actually want to make it educational. And we also want to do broad spectrum, because, one of the hardest things that I had a challenge with coming on was just I make everything super duper hard and make it CTF-y. And they were like, whoa, step back. This is good stuff, but you got to tweak it. And so it was really a fundamental design process, changing of mindsets to say, okay, I want to make broad spectrum challenges. Even stuff that I've done 100 times, I get tired of doing it. But, people do need Linux 101 skills. And so let's make challenges based on that almost every year or something like that. That's always valuable. But also, too, let's not make them have to do guesswork. There should, depending on the difficulty, maybe you make them guess and try a little harder, right? But depending on what our target is, if this is going to be really challenging, we still want to make it to where there's no logical gaps, where I have to just guess and without any realistic real world application. Is there a way that I can connect the dots even if with a little sprinkle of try harder in there? Can it be accomplished? And so that's one of our fundamental things that we try to do different than a lot of places.
Yeah, I think too, to add on to what makes Holiday Hack different, and in my opinion better than a lot of other CTFs, is that at its core it's a CTF, but it's wrapped up in this awesome, what is essentially a video game. So it makes it really approachable for people of all ages and experience levels. And even if you're not a cybersecurity expert, you can jump in, and there's like Chris creates awesome, mini games every year that are hugely popular. And, so like you don't even have to know cybersecurity. You can just jump in, play the game, and, have fun with it. And then, maybe get curious and learn about cybersecurity as you're playing it. So, and then this year we really tried to focus on that accessibility, I think, by having, the Mario style difficulty where, you have this, like a built-in easy hard mode. And also we have just we're going to do a story mode this year too. So if you have like young kids or something that, can't even like operate a keyboard or whatever, but they think the game looks cool and fun, and they just want to hop around and run around and, listen to the NPCs and all that stuff. We have a story mode for that too. So
yeah, and that's actually one of Evan's insights this year. Was there was many times where people would get gated, because we would have challenges, and before you could get, and so there's like 5 challenges behind this one gate, and you can't get there. I mean, by some technical means, and it sucks because a lot of people they just maybe can't get past that one thing, but they could have gone and done some of those other challenges. And so that was actually one of Evan's insights this year. I don't know if you want to speak to that, Evan.
Yeah, well, I mean, every year we get to the end, and we would have 2.5%, 3% of players actually get to the end of the story, and get that satisfying payoff at the end. And yeah, I mean, and that was happening with our capstone challenges too. Like we spend all this time and energy building these crazy challenges that are tremendously fun, and then someone would get hung up on a earlier step and then would miss out on it completely. And so so that's the new features this year will help alleviate a lot of that, I think, and I think people will enjoy that.
It's funny, I remember the change of, hey, now you have this avatar that can hop around in that world, and it wasn't the strict prescribed, here is a set of tasks and challenges. And around the time, a couple of my friends and I were thinking like, oh, it's very different now. Holiday Hack Challenge has changed and evolved in a different way. And some folks were saying like, hey, I like this. I like the video game appeal and style to it. And some were like, I just miss my like Jeopardy board where I click on a thing and it gives me a challenge. So I love the thought of story mode, and I always wonder, and I don't know if I teased in a call with Ed some time ago, but I was like, would you ever do a challenge mode just as well? That's even the strict, hey, here's task after activity after exercise. I don't know if that's in the cards, but
yeah.
That's exactly what that'll solve. Yeah.
I have proposed that. I called it TLDR mode, where you just have basically everything listed out, all your objectives in the badge. But man, like we do try to inject fun and whimsy in everything we do.
Totally.
And that's a recipe that I think would be really tough to step away from.
Right.
And in a sense, you're still going to have to jump around to get to the challenge. Maybe like there's an elf standing next to a terminal and you got to click on it. But in this sense, because of the features that Evan has schemed up this year, you'll be able to, again, not be gated. You can get to that area and still go through there, and it'll be in your badge. So you'll actually have a task type view by which you can get to the challenges and hit every single one of them without being too much of a gamer, because that is a point that we've learned in the past. Like we've tried to gamify things like Net Wars, for example, and if you're a gamer, you'll love it. It's like I've had the best reviews in the world. But if you're not a gamer, maybe you don't mind poking around or bouncing around, but having to game can be a little bit of a challenge. So I think this year we're going to try to straddle that line a little bit better with that.
Interesting. Cool. I'm super excited for it. But goodness, is there anything else? I know we've kind of gone a little bit all over the place, and it's hard to dive it all into, hey, just in one video with us together. But look, am I missing anything that you think we absolutely want to touch on? Or if there's any sentiment of like, look, just what does a day in the life building this thing out look like for you all? Happy to let you help, wind this thing down if you've got any closing parting thoughts.
Well, I think the big thing, in years prior, we would not announce our launch dates. This year, we are launching November 7th. So we've actually got something you could put in your calendars and prepare for. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're starting with the prologue, and that's going to run, I think, 2 weeks. And then we'll get into Act 1. And should go from there.
I would also say, too, one of the things that people often forget is they think you have to do this by yourself. And one, you should definitely play with people. I mean, this is one of the things that I loved back when I first did my SANS Holiday Hack Challenge, before I ever came on with SANS, was just getting with my buddies. We would do it in the office. At the time I was working for UPS, and we would, bunch of cyber geeks, we'd just sit around and like play that part of our day and just have fun together. But one of the things that we've changed that I think a lot of times people forget is that you can actually work together as a team and submit completion as a team, which makes the hurdle of solving a lot of these challenges a lot easier. And given the structure of the way you can get to every challenge, it's a great opportunity for teams to get together, split up and divide and conquer, and then ultimately come together and actually build a team. And we've actually had teams win in the past before. So it's something I wanted to touch on too, because oftentimes people don't realize you don't have to be a solo player. We want you to play this together. So
cool. Kyle, Eric, anything from your end? Or, hey, how we feeling? Do we look good?
I'm super excited. A lot of work's been into this. I mean, we, like others said, we do pen tests as well. So taking our time from pen test and applying that into these challenges, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of meaningful work on our end. Like everyone very much enjoys this and wants to be the best experience that we can make. So I'm excited for it to come together.
Yeah, same here. Just really excited. I always love jumping into Discord or lurking around Twitter and seeing seeing all the chatter, what people have to say about it, about the challenges, the world. Really every aspect of it. I just love seeing how people react to it, watching YouTube videos of walkthroughs. It's all, it's a lot of fun. We, right when it, when it releases, we all kind of jump in a call just like this and go into the game together, and we're all talking to each other in Slack and on video and stuff, and just commenting on what people are doing in the game. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a really good time.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
We have a Discord set up, and that's one of our favorite places to jump into. So we would highly encourage, get on there, jump into Discord, and chat with us as you're playing. Ask us questions. So we're there to help. So.
Yeah, my last one is really, what's that call to action? Hey, November 7th, okay, game turns on. We got to jump in the Discord. How can folks dive in? Is it holidayhackchallenge.com? Is it Kringle? Give me the deets to let anyone join the party. If anyone knows. Is it KringleCon?
I actually had to Google it really quick.
The URL.
I don't think it's KringleCon this year. I think.
Yeah, KringleCon is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, just Holiday Hack this year.
Yeah, Google SANS Holiday Hack, you'll find it. Yeah.
Ed's got a tweet up.
Twitter, social.
Yes,
Excellent.
get on Ed Scotus's Twitter. He'll tell you for sure. He'll give you all the details.
Excellent.
Yeah, worst case, go to holidayhackchallenge.com and that should get you going.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. This is awesome. I'm super excited for it. I am genuinely looking forward to it. It's something that I've played, like, I remember 2014, 2015, years and years, but it's so cool to see it grow, everything that it's been doing. And I hope to share a little bit more content and video and help try to bring that education out there. But just a great community event at the end of the year to get everyone together. So kudos to you all for incredible work. And I'm sure, I don't know, that if you're already scheming up for 2025, I know that's going to be just next.
Right around the corner.
Thanks all.
Yep, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.